Hi, everybody, and welcome to the fourth Novaschool Innovation Talks seminar, NIT for short. For those that don't know who I am Alex Lasso, and this is the fourth year that we're doing this in public, the fifth year that I've been doing it with the students. And just to explain a little bit about what this program is, about 5 years ago, I started teaching leadership through coaching. And to my surprise and my amazement and my luck, I found a bunch of students with a bunch of experience, with a bunch of knowledge that I felt needed to be shared with everybody. Hence, this program was started, and now this is our fourth year that we're doing it in public. You have no idea how happy I am that we have continued this program, and you have no idea how much I've learned. Speaking about learning, the title of this presentation. The title of this presentation is called Past, Present, and Future. And usually the title, I get it after listening to the presentations that we're going to have today. And it was so amazing what I learned. Believe me, I learned. I'm a 45-year-old man that has traveled the world, and I'm still learning. And what I've learned here was, first of all, we always talk about the past. And we always say there's nothing you could do with the past but learn from it. And it's true, there's nothing you could do with it. But think about everything that you've learned in the past. You've learned about your emotions, you've learned how to be motivated, you learned where you want to go in the future. And in the future, you have to think about that also, because I've made one mistake, and I think this is what I've learned here, is that sometimes we focus too much on the future. We're thinking, oh, if we get there, we will be successful. If we get there, we reach our goals, we overcome objectives, that's when we're going to reach our happiness. And the truth is that our future is uncertain. So we have our past, that we can't do anything with it but learn from it. And we have our future, which is uncertain and unknown, which could change at any second. And now we have our present, where we are today. And where we are today, that's where we need to feel successful. Appreciating the things that we have, using the things that we learned, and more importantly, sharing the things that we've learned. You have no idea how important it is in this world, more today than ever, to share our wisdom and knowledge. Because there's over 7 billion people in this world. We don't live here alone. That's what I tell the students every day. So many people in this world, you cannot do it alone. And you become much more happier when you share your successes, your wisdom, your experience with other people. Without further ado, I do want to present our first speaker. Our first speaker, when I started interacting with her, I started observing her in class, she was one of those students that she was focused. She was driven to be successful. She was driven, she wanted to learn, always asking questions, always paying attention. But most importantly, something that struck me really, really like an awesome thing from her was that she was always willing to share her knowledge. Without a doubt, without any further delay, please welcome to the stage Ms. Alba Lopez Ventura.
For me, motivation starts when I think of a future plan. But actually, what really keeps me motivated is when you learn how to find motivation in the present. Because if you start thinking of the future, it's going to lead to anxiety. And if you start thinking of the past, it's going to lead to depression. So try to think and enjoy the present, because that is what you're going to keep forever. In my past, I thought I achieved success when all my future plans that have been keeping me motivated came true, because I worked really hard in order to accomplish them. But last year, I couldn't find motivation or energy to do something I really enjoyed, just because I was scared of doing it. But then I thought, life is a beautiful present, and I have the privilege of being here. So why couldn't I enjoy my life to the fullest? And at that moment, I learned how to find motivation in my daily basis, even though some days it's normal to have your ups and downs, especially in the past years. We've been trapped in a pandemic situation for over 3 years now, and I've met a lot of people feeling sad, down, and some of them didn't even know how they felt. I also felt like this sometimes, just because we're going through a lot in a very short period of time, and we can't assimilate the situation in any of the ways. I think this is due to the time we spend alone. At the end of the day, we are sociable living beings, and all we did during quarantine was build a very structured routine where we could only speak face-to-face with the people we were living around with, adding all the time we wasted on our phones. In social media, there's a lot of fake information, and all we see are videos of 60 seconds long of people we don't even know. Is this real life? My advice to you is to keep yourself away from social media as much as you can. Try new things, new adventures, new experiences, in order to stay confident about ourselves, building self-confidence and not comparing to each other's. One day, while I was searching on the internet, I found a very inspiring quote that I repeat to myself whenever I have to accomplish my goals. And it says, if you're not the nicest, most hardworking person out there, there's always gonna be someone nicer and more hardworking than you. But if you put all your effort in it, you are going to become the best version of yourself, and then you're going to reach the top. Do you know how to become the best version of yourself? I am going to give you a clue that sometimes helped me. Whenever you're feeling down, which is totally normal, try to come to a person who is maybe struggling with something and try to help them. The other person is not only going to feel a bit more relief, but you are going to be a step closer to find your own happiness and own success. You only live once, so try to be an awake and positive person every second of your life. It doesn't mean you can't have your ups and downs, so do it for your future and you may enjoy the present. And if you're scared of doing something, stop doubting yourself. Work hard, stay positive, and make it happen. Thank you.
Exactly. The present. The present is what it's all about. But we also got to learn what we need to do to get and use these things to enjoy the present. Our next presenter, when I met her, she was a very, very, very quiet person. I mean, one of the quietest people in the class. Sometimes you don't even realize she's there. But when you do see that she's there, she's always hardworking, very mind-focused, and very concentrated in being and exceeding and getting good grades and things of that nature. But this year, I'm seeing her come out of her shell and coming out to be her true awesome self. This year, when she did this presentation in the class, there was no doubt in my mind that she needed to do this presentation and share her wisdom with you. So please welcome to the stage, Ms. Qing-Ting Wu.
How do we become successful in life? Well, I'm afraid to tell you that I don't know neither. Because maybe for me, successful is completing my goals. But for my mother, for example, it's being able to help people. Or for you, it's finding a nice job in the future. We all have different points of view for success, but we all have something in common too. We all want to become better and better. So today, I'll share my keys to become successful in life. My first key is believe in yourself, which is easy to say but kind of difficult to do. Doesn't it happen to you that when you finish your exam, you always start saying, ugh, I got this wrong and that, my exam was awful, I'm not gonna pass my exam, and blah, blah, blah. If I'm honest to you, I do say that sometimes too. But why? Why do we keep saying that? Well, maybe because we don't believe in ourselves. But then, why don't we believe in ourselves? Well, mostly because we didn't study hard enough or didn't prepare as good as we needed to. I'll tell you, there's no successful person who hasn't believed in themselves. Believe in yourself. Even if you're wrong, believe what you can learn and how far you get in your ideas, and stand up for what you believe in. My mother told me once that she used to be a worker in a restaurant. More specifically, she was a waitress. Her boss didn't treat her really well, and even though she worked really hard, she didn't earn that much money. One day, she missed my dad, and together they decided to run a business. At first, it was a lot of hard work, but they believed in themselves, so they kept working. And look at her now. She's the one who's in charge of the entire shop. It's not a famous or enormous shop, but she earns enough money for me to go to school, to eat, to live. Take out something positive from everything. If you shed your tears when you miss the sun, you also miss the stars. This quote from Tagore reminds me of the 5-minute rule, which is, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, then spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. I mean, you can be sad or frustrated, but don't spend the whole day like that just because you failed an exam, or just because you got fired from a job, or just because of any other problem that you can't control. It's like, for example, imagine you have $86,400, and while you were working, you lost $400. Will you throw those $86,000 left? No, right? I mean, no one would be so stupid to throw them away. Okay, so now let's say there's 86,400 seconds in a day, and you spend 400 seconds unhappy. You wouldn't spend those 86,000 seconds left unhappy just because of those 400, right? Before, if I didn't get the mark or goals I proposed to myself, I would cry. But then I realized that that changes nothing. Moreover, I began accepting it. And every time this happens, there's a quote from Will Smith that motivates me. And it says, if you don't fight for what you want, don't cry for what you lost. Sometimes we don't realize if we really did an effort in order to get what we want. And this can be seen by our achievements and improvements. Of course, you may have worked really hard and still haven't got what you want. But we don't need to be the best, just keep doing our best. So why not work harder and see how far you get? There will always be something positive in everything. You just need to find it, even though sometimes you'll need to look harder. Life is short, live it to the fullest. When the teacher sends us a project to do in a day, in a week, I can guess that you spend the whole week doing nothing, and the day before the deadline you spend doing the whole project. Whereas when the teacher sends us a project to do in a day, we complete our work in time. Life is too short, and we have a bunch of things we want to do. And at the end, we regret not doing all those things. So why not live every day as it was our last? Tell your parents how much you love them. Tell your friends how much you appreciate them. Remind yourself how good you are. People can't read our minds, but we can express them in words. Well, I hope you remember at least one of my keys and see if they work on you. And if they don't, create your own ones. Thank you.
Like I said, it's all about learning from each other, and some of those keys were actually very awesome keys that I apply myself in life. Our next presenters, which there are actually 3, when I heard their presentations individually, like I said earlier, I'm always learning. And what I learned from these ladies was that, one, success comes in many places from different people and different roads. It's amazing how sometimes you don't even realize that you can learn success and there's different types of success. So without further ado, I do want to present the next three ladies, and believe me, I could talk wonderful things about them, but I would like them to do their presentation better so you can learn from them just like I did. Please welcome Ana, Andrea, and Victoria.
Anxiety.
Lack of confidence.
Being scared.
Is it what stops you from being successful? A lot of people don't know even the meaning of success or never experience it.
I mean, it's very difficult to know what your aim in life, your purpose, or your dream career is. However, everyone wants to be successful, despite the fact that we don't even know which this word means. And that's not all. We also want it now, as fast as possible, and the easier the better. However, we have experienced and events in our past that have led us today, here, to tell us our success stories.
Each person gains success through different experiences on their lives, so this means that each person has different stories to tell. Our stories were completely different, but they were connected in soul, mind, and body.
I started surfing when I was very little, and I have to say that at the beginning it was not easy at all. I started comparing to my other classmates, and I didn't progress at all. But I thought, okay, what if I just keep going? And that's what I did. I practiced and practiced until one day I stand up the surfboard, and it was the best feeling ever. Nowadays, I have to say that I keep falling, but I have learned that you have to stand up and keep going.
On September, I started my exchange to Ireland, and this exchange changed my whole concept of success. I remember the first morning I went to school, I was terrified. I was thinking I didn't have any friends or no one I knew. But the reality was something completely different. I went through the door of the class and I saw a group of girls. I went to them and I just be myself. Nowadays, thanks to that, those girls are my friends.
When I realized I had to start speaking French, I was so scared because I never spoken it before. But thanks to the confidence that my environment gave me, today I'm proud of myself because I can speak French without any mistakes, and thanks to that I met new people.
So when we were thinking for a conclusion to this presentation, we have noticed that our meaning of success has changed.
Since childhood, people taught us that success can be being rich or being popular.
But for us, success doesn't mean that. For us, success means being proud of yourself, of your work, and of who you are. No matter if we fail, we will try again.
And we achieved all that because we forgot our 3 words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is one of these people that, for me, personifies a fighter, okay? She's a person that when I see her, the way she interacts, the way she fights for what she wants, she doesn't stop fighting. Any obstacle in her way, I could see her fighting. If she were to get knocked out, which I doubt she'll ever be knocked down, she will get up and start fighting again. Okay, this is one person that will never stop fighting and to get where she wants to go. One of the cool things is the presentation she's going to give. It's one of the things that I've learned a lot from me as a person, and I hope you learn so also as well. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Jayel Lopez.
Si te pregunto por las mujeres, supongo que me darás una lista de tus favoritas. Pero no puedes decirme qué se siente cuando te despiertas junto a una mujer y te invade la felicidad.
This song is by Ayax y Prok and is based on one of my favorite scenes on the movie The Good Will Hunting. This scene is played by Matt Damon and Robin Williams. Here, Robin is telling Matt that even though he knows everything about books, he knows nothing about life. I am Jayel and I don't believe in hopes and dreams. Why? Well, I think that every day we are learning new things and always our mind is changing. This is why your mind of last year is not your mind of today, and it will not be your mind of the next 2 years. I want you to think on the first dream that you had and in your actual dream. They look alike, they are still the same. Maybe your first dream was to be a princess, and until now you were waiting to your prince to rescue. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The prince returns the door, and at the end you are the only one that can rescue yourself. In this point, maybe you agree with me, or you are thinking that I'm completely bitter, because where are my motivations, where are my dreams? In fact, a lot of studies say that humans need to have hopes and dreams to wake up every morning, but I don't agree. I think that sometimes dreams are too big for us, and when almost we are going to achieve it, we get bored and we stop fighting for the dream. I was once told, demonstrate that you really want it. Look for reasons, not for excuses. And it's like that, because in my opinion, I don't think that it's like this, because winners are the type of losers that look for excuses, are the ones that wake up every morning. The second ones are the real winners. But when we are losers, people used to judge us. They don't know what really wakes you every morning. Everyone has a good will hunting in their life. Only tell him not to focus in what is already written. He can also focus and learn about his own history. Thank you.
Last year, I was walking through the hallways here, and to my wonderful ears, I heard a beautiful sound. And obviously, curiosity, I looked through the window and I saw what I saw. I don't want to give too much away so you could enjoy it yourself and be surprised as well. Because what I saw surprised me, because it's not the typical image that you see of what you're about to see. Our next presenter is somebody that has showed me that you can juggle many things and be successful in many things. And believe me, this guy, I don't think he has a limit. He's one of those guys that anything he puts his mind to, he will achieve. So please, welcome to the stage, Mr. Pablo Platero.
keys to be successful is to be a loser, because it helped me to learn from my mistakes. Thank you.
I hope you guys have all been enjoying our presentations this so far. So believe me, even though I've heard these presentations over and over and over again, because that's how hard these students have worked, I'm still learning from what they're saying. Nonetheless, I know it's time for a break. So we'll be back shortly. So do what you got to do, and see you on the return. All right, and welcome back to our presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. We've learned a lot of things so far. We've learned about ways on how to be successful, appreciating the present. There are many ways to be successful and never to stop fighting. I want to start with our guest presenters for today. And yesterday when we were rehearsing, I had just realized that our next presenter, I've known for 7 years now. 7 years. And it's amazing the way I've seen him develop throughout his whole school career. When I met him, he was a very book-focused, learning from the book, learning from literature, and paying attention in class. No doubt one of the smartest people in the class, if not the smartest. Nowadays, thanks to some situations, and I don't want to give away too much information like previous, he has opened up his book and his chapters to a whole other level, which has made him even a stronger person than he was before. If that was possible, he made it possible. So, without further ado, I do want to present our next presenter, a student that I admire very, very much, Mr. Juan Miguel Reyes.
Quick, who has ever tried to pass certain exam, exercise a bit more, learn a new skill, something hard, and fail during the process? I'd like you to raise your hands, but I can see you, so I would guess there's someone out there. And if not, you're going to feel so bored. Anyway, this speech is for you. Good morning to everyone, my name is Juanmi, and today I will teach you how to achieve anything you propose in life. During my journey, I have not only concluded that objective perfection doesn't exist, but that we are always able to cross new limits. Circumstances have challenged me to develop a special ability, such as breaking my leg when I was 13 or struggling with anxiety these past few years. Because if I'm honest with you, I do have a problem too. And I'm never satisfied with anything I do. Believe me, anything except if it is done perfectly. This embraces tasks related with my studies, my art, health, relationships, skills such as speaking in public. 5. Therefore, after living with this push for these years, today I'm sure there isn't anything I can't accomplish, since everything I have said till date, I've always reached it. This aptitude, psychological state of always performing my 99.99% is the discovery of my life. So treat it with care, please. I believe this is the only tool required to succeed, the only step between us and the top. What am I talking about? Will. Being able to modify your routine at ease. And you may ask me, Juanmi, why? Well, Juan is going to tell you. Because everything we are, everything we think and are able of, even how we react, goes back to our habits. Because I'm sick of seeing people underrating themselves, attributing lack to success, only because they have this little custom of waking up in the morning and telling themselves, I'm not good enough. I am unremarkable. And that's okay. Of course it is not okay. Doesn't it hurt believing that talent is innate? That there are boundaries you will never cross, things you will never experience just due to the fact that you're not good enough? Of course it does, but excuses make life easier. With this ability, I mean being conscious when we lie to ourselves. I mean eradicating excuses from our minds. I mean being our own coaches, gurus to the top. You're the one who says, hey, I hate doing this because it is tiring, but it's gonna help, so I won't stop. As I was saying, I'd like to teach you how to introduce these small and profitable daily actions to your schedule. Actions that will ensure that we are doing our best performance. I want you to cut out procrastination, to have your weaknesses under control. You'll be able to avoid any distraction and temptation by training a mental state. You know, despite feeling exhausted, I never take breaks at the weekends. I'm always working, I'm here, I'm there. And surprisingly, this is always worth because I have learned to love what I do and what I know that must be done. I've concluded that this lack of tiredness phenomenon is brought by attitude, life philosophy. You may consider that this will make you happy, regardless that happiness is nothing but an illusion. Its definition can be changed with experience. I have already done it. I see will as one of the strongest muscles in our personality, whose endurance can be stimulated in two ways. The first one is with motivation, which works pretty much like a drug. For example, you can get doughed with a New Year resolution and start going to the gym. However, after 2 weeks getting in shape, motivation runs out and we all know what comes next. And don't get me wrong, both motivation and ambition are so essential in the success process that neither of them matter without will, without resilience, without constancy. The second way is training will as you would do rehab after an injury. Start with the small, tedious tasks such as telling yourself nice things in the mirror before going to bed or taking the stairs instead of the lift, in case you have a lift. Then increase frequency, not length. I suggest working in short, intense periods and never skipping it. For example, like my piano teacher says, we will play half an hour every day instead of 2 hours 3 times a week. Just think that by reading 10 pages daily, you could read a 300-page book per month. I mean, a good organization provides us with no boundaries at all. Believe me, I'm always everywhere dealing with lots of things at the same time, so just squeeze your day, all right? Now, you should believe me when I tell you that you're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel so tired that you might think that this is not worth, but this isn't meant to be a punishment. Pain is unavoidable, while suffering is optional, said Buddha. Before I started my rehab, before I spent 10 weeks sat in an armchair, before I broke my leg, I hated the sport. And today, I'm a fanatic of it. Because our tastes don't define us, so just hold it till it becomes a need. With time, you'll be able to ignore tiredness easily. Just don't let fatigue stop you. Feel the reward every time, every second you become something small. Because life is a new in the process. I would also like to share with you a mantra that has helped me a lot. And I'd like you to record it, all right? Listen. Everything. Everything. Almost every single bad thing that happens around you is your fault. Because when something is your fault, it means that there was some tiny detail in the process that you could have changed in order not to have failed. So, if everything around you is your fault, it means that everything around you is under your control. This also means that you're going to be much prone to fail, which leads us to the next point. Fail a lot. As my father says, don't play till you get it, play till you can get it wrong. If perfection existed, it wouldn't rely on being perfect, but on failing in every single way till we can repeat any mistake. As Nestor Roulette said, we're the only animal who trips twice on the same rock. So trip twice till you can trip a third one. Makes sense, right? Now, you will often lose perspective. I have lost perspective. I have suffered for not reaching my standards, and I'm sure you also suffer from this. So let me give you a bit of advice. Rest. Rest for some days while you try to remember why you decided to start. Try to remember what was wrong in the beginning. Why did you like starting? When I'm too stressed with my exams, my stuff, normally I don't have time to play my piano. And my skills go worse slowly, which I hate. And then a new question arises. Juanmi, you're trying to do so many things in a short period of time. You cannot keep up with everything, man. Leave something. Leave playing the piano, please. Leave it. I love playing my piano. Until the moment, every doubt hasn't shown me that I'm able to deal with everything as long as I was really determined to. The only problem is that today, I have to arrive home and tell myself, why do I love playing the piano? Why do I like it? Why do I started doing it? Because every single piece of art in history, every act of greatness has only happened because there was a person ready to sacrifice everything. There was a person who loved that thing so much that didn't care of the time that had to be spent. And this is my key. Like this, your day will last what you decide. If you want to take a short learning from this whole, just try to give a deep and personal sense to every single action you take in your daily life. Be ambitious, because there isn't anything we can't achieve. Every one of us is perfect. I hope I illuminate you the way at some point, because this life is too short for achieving our best version and too long for blaming ourselves for not having done it. In any case, they're both the same life. Thank you.
Alrighty, so Juan Miguel Reyes, what can I say? Energy, focus, strength, he's got it all. Our next guest presenter, like I said before, I've traveled the world. I've lived in different countries. I've lived in different cities, different types of cities, from New York to Central America, and now here living in Spain. And I've met so many different types of people. And everywhere I've gone, I've always met somebody that's like one of those people that you're so happy that you've met. Our next presenter is one of those people. It's the type of person that when I got to meet him a couple of years ago, every time we talked, every time we had an interaction, whether it be one sentence or a full conversation, you feel better. You feel more knowledgeable. He's one of those people that raise the level all the time. So please put your hands together for Mr. Jose Carlos Sanchez.
What is the best version of yourself, guys? You think you already know that, or you have no clue about it? Wherever the situation is, it's absolutely fine. Today, let me talk about myself. Guys, one day, a long time ago, I was in your shoes. The same situation as you are right now. Didn't know what to do with my life, didn't know what to study, I was just lost. Had so many options to choose from. And honestly, I wasn't able to make my mind up. I was just lost. With the passing of the time, after listening to some advice from the people around me, I decided to do something related to modern foreign languages. Specifically, the English one, which was the one that I liked the most. But still, so many questions, doubts came to me. What degree should I go for? Translation, philology, do that at home, do that abroad? Well, translation was supposed to be something more functional and then have some more work opportunities. At least that's what people used to say. Then 4 years later, I got my degree. I was officially a translator. I thought I was on top of the world. Life was solved already. I was certain that I had made the right choice and also had become the best version of myself. You guys think I was right? Just wrong? I tell you what, life was about to prove me wrong. When I went into real world. Once I got into real world, all I found was absolutely different from what I was expecting to find. What did I find? So many people like me, just like me. Same knowledge, same certificate, same, the way they understood the world was exactly the same as I had. They just wanted to make their way through. And I wanted to do so as well. That was pure competition. Well, then started to look for some jobs related to translation. And I had a couple of experiences related to that. However, conditions I get were not good enough. So I considered the idea of moving out. I moved out. I moved to London. London, wow, such a huge place, amazing place, like the best choice for me as a translator, a great place to grow up professionally. But the thing is, I was going to be away from home, so I was a little bit scared. Once I got to London, I got a job straight away. That was like a dream come true, because I finished my degree and then I got my job. What else could I expect? Nothing at all. But unfortunately, it took me a couple of weeks only to understand, to realize that I was not happy at all in that job. That was not my best version, honestly. And I didn't want it to be the best version of myself. I used to spend 8 hours in a row just translating documents, translating words, and honestly, that was not for me. So I quit the job, stopped working for that company, and then started to think over some other options. And then out of nowhere, I was given the chance to get into education. But a translator into education, did it make any sense to me? Nothing at all. What could I offer to students? Because, you know, at the end, the only thing I could do was just translate words. But then I changed my mind, I changed my thoughts, and I accepted that challenge. I got into education. First, just to learn how the field works. I did a traineeship, started to work as a trainee teacher at the secondary school in London. That was a great experience, because that way I understood how they do work. Later on, started to work in primary and then secondary as well. In both cases, teaching the same subject, Spanish as a foreign language. Honestly, I had to readapt. That was hard, that was challenging. But those 4 years, because I was 4 years teaching that, were great, fantastic, magical, unforgettable. The balance was so positive, and I had the feeling once again that I was on top of the world. But now, you never know what's around the corner. Life was about to surprise me once again. I had a call from my school in Spain, south of Spain, my home. That was Novaschool. Well, they wanted to get me on board, but just on this occasion to do something else, teaching Spanish as a first language. Should I accept that challenge? What could I respond? I was once again on top of the world. I was happy enough, and that was hard, but I accepted the challenge. Now, I'm in Novaschool. That's my place. 3 years later, I can't say the balance couldn't be any more positive. I've been teaching some Spanish, some English, and even some Latin. And I adapted to anything I was required to adapt. The thing is, I'm absolutely happy nowadays. You might be wondering now, why am I this happy? And I'll tell you why. I accepted a new challenge. I was able to adapt to that situation, and I overcame that big challenge. And also, I got something that I have always wanted to have in my life, a job, the place where I was born and raised, next to my family, just at home. You know what I see, guys, when I look back? All I see is a really long road full of changes, stages, but also two keys: diversification and also transformation. They were my cornerstones for the whole road. Now, let me remind you of some words that Charles Darwin said a long time ago, and they are quite significant to me. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not even the most intelligent, but the one most adaptable to change. Well, let me finish my presentation, boys and girls, by giving you some advice. Life is about making decisions. Some of them are easy, some of them are not that easy, but they all together transport us to the place where we want to be in the future. Now, you are about to make one of the most important decisions in your life, which is deciding what to study and what to do. The thing is, please do not leave it as a nightmare, not in a sad way, because you know what, this time is never coming back. So just enjoy this time, choose whatever you think is going to make you happy in the future time, and try to learn as much as you can from all the experiences you have and all the decisions you make. The thing is, be willing to adapt and be willing to transform. No ID card is going to define you. No ID card is going to limit you. I had over 20 ID cards. I never ever let them define me. Remember, life is about being able to transform and adapt, not about being the best. Just be the best version of yourself. Thank you.
Well, again, I hope you've learned something from our presentations. There are so many keys, so many ways to be successful. And we have come to the end of our presentations, but I still have one more gift for you. It's something that I don't want to say too many words. The fact is, I want to welcome to the stage, led by teacher Virginia, piano by Miss Asaar Lastre, the Novaschool Choir. And we'll be right back in a couple of seconds while they set up. Wow, oh my God. I'm still like speechless on watching this, and I've seen this so many times. Nonetheless, thank you very much for your attention. We have concluded our NIT seminar for this year. See you guys next year.